Call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for January 5th, 2018. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Dodson.
Here.
Okerberg.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Svenby.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
And Mayor Kunz.
Here.
We have all 7 of the council and the mayor present.
Thank you. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight for our first meeting of 2016, and it appears we have some Boy Scouts here also. What troop are you from? 246. Welcome. Thank you. And with that, we move on to the next item, which would be approval of the agenda, and there's no changes to what was presented. What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to the public hearing, we have a MIF grant application for Viracon, and with that, we will move to Troy.
Well, Viracon is planning another expansion project, and as part of that, the city is submitting a Minnesota Investment Fund application to the Minnesota Department of Economic Development and Employment as part of the overall financing. And we have Ed Sheeta here from Advanced Resources that is our consultant on these projects, and Ed will speak to the MIF application.
Good evening, and again, Happy New Year to us as well. Yes, this is an extension, I think, a little bit of the 2013 project, at which time the city, I think, addressed numerous aspects of the of Viracon's expansion, vacating roads, dealing with stormwater and everything. So this is the additional part of that coming back, and so the current proposal would be to do additional expansion and the addition of equipment, which would allow them to make larger plates of glass and everything that are demanded by the architects around the world now for new buildings and everything. So the city's action in this case is simply to support an application to deed for a Minnesota Investment Fund grant, which is a grant to the city. It's in the amount of $1 million. And that becomes a loan, a forgivable loan to the company based upon their making investment and creating approximately 100 jobs. So the only action before the council this evening then is the adoption of a resolution that authorizes submission of the grant application. Questions?
Maybe for the Boy Scouts that are present, do you want to give an explanation of where the dollars come from and how do you get a little bit more detail on that?
Okay, well, yes, again, thank you. Yeah, the programs here are appropriations that are made both by the federal government and the state government to a program in Minnesota through the Department of Employment and Economic Development, which in turn can award grants to cities throughout the state for eligible projects. In this particular instance, the grant funds actually come from the state of Minnesota general revenues. These are actually state dollars, not federal dollars. They have slightly different regulations with them, and as I said, the main thing here is that the company is required to perform. In other words, they make their investment, they create their jobs, and there's an audit done at 2 years. That's sort of the 2 years from the date that the equipment is installed. An audit is done, and they verify the number of jobs and verify their investment and everything. The funds are actually released to the company upon the installation of designated pieces of equipment, which they've identified in the grant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Questions from the council? With that, at 7:05, I will open up for public hearing, and if anyone in the audience wishes to be heard on this issue, please step forward and have you sign in. Seeing none, motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Nate Dodson to close the public hearing. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now it's the council's turn to ask questions if you have them. And with that, we'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Viracon for their continued investment in our community. I know when we looked at that investment a couple of years ago, moving out of Owatonna to another location, and we were successful in keeping you here. So thank you for continuing to expand in Owatonna.
Yes, thank you. Okay, any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
And thank you, Viracon, for continuing to grow here. With that, we will move on to 1.4, 2016 organization meetings. And we'll go to Chris with that to start with.
Thank you, Les. With the start of the new year, there's a number of housekeeping items that we need to take care of. The first being designating our depositories and authorized signatories. The Office of the State Auditor recommends that the city annually do this, and you have our standard format in front of you there with the various banks and signatories, and staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, and I can just go down through each one and just ask for a motion.
Yep.
And with that, I will ask for on 1.4.1, the designation of depositories and authorized signatures. What is the council's wishes?
Motion approved.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. 1.4.2 is council approval of resolution for designation of responsible authority to administer the requirements for government data with the city. And what is the council's wishes here?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That has been approved also. Moving down to 1.4.3, change in date of city council meetings from March 1st or to March 1st, August 2nd and August 16th. What is the council's wishes there?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion there?
That's actually changing to February the 29th, that March 1st date.
February 29th, okay. So it would be,
I mean, it's the Monday before. It was March 1st, but it's going to go the Monday before. It's February the
Okay.
29th.
okay. So yes, I see that here. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to 1.4.4, designation of Owatonna People's Press as the official newspaper for the city for 2016. What is the council's wishes there?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Okerberg. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to 1.4.5, appoint a weed inspector for 2016, and what is the council's wishes there?
To approve.
Motion by Brent Svenby to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Now, go down to the mayor. Do you have anything today?
Not today, nope.
Not today. Then we'll move on to the finance report, and now I'll ask Councilmember Greg Schultz to read that.
Okay, we have two things to do here. Recap of the balance of the year 2015 and the beginning of the year 2016. For 2015, expenditures presented for approval tonight, checks over $20,000 are $20,695 to James Brother Construction for the T-Hanger pavement reconstruction, $26,925 to Owatonna Ford for a 2015 Ford Taurus, $116,952 to the Southeast Service Cooperative which is the December 2015 health insurance premiums. Other expenditures of $265,016 make a total of expenditures presented for approval tonight for the balance of the year 2015 of $429,589.26. For the beginning of the year 2016, checks over $20,000 are $22,500 to the Owatonna Chamber of Commerce, which is the first half payment per agreement, $31,213 to Malo Roofing for the Art Center project, $20,605 to Owatonna Heating and Cooling for the Art Center project, $52,600 to Rokon Inc. for the Art Center project. Add to that other expenditures of $68,643, make a total of $195,562.50 of total expenditures presented for approval tonight for the year 2016.
Thank you, Greg. And what is the council's wishes on this?
Motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. We now move down to the council consent agenda items, which are grouped into one motion. They are various minutes of meetings, permits, etc., grouped into one motion. And what is the council's wishes here?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion by Dave Burbank to approve the consent agenda items. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion on any of those? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These have been approved. Now moving down to action items. The first one is 3.1, license permits on sale liquor, Sunday sales license for Patrick Conroy. And this will go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. We have received an application from Patrick Conroy. The restaurant is the former Andiamo's Big Ten. It's currently unoccupied, and Mr. Conroy hopes to open February 1st. We have his application. His background check was completed and approved. The license fee and insurance will be secured prior to the finalization of the license. Budget impact, the license fee will be prorated. The annual fee for liquor license is $3,000, so with the 5 months of February to June, it'll be $1,250 for that portion. There'll also be a $200 fee for the Sunday sales permit. Staff would recommend approval of the license contingent upon the fee and insurance information.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Jeff Olkenberg. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to 3.2.1, it is Resolution 3-16, Order Feasibility Report 2016 Street and Utility Projects. And this one will go to Kyle.
Les? I will have to recuse myself from these next deliberations. I'm a property owner
Okay,
of some
very
of the
good.
properties here.
Thank you. Kyle.
Good evening. We've evaluated streets around town and looked at our long-term plan, and we're proposing the following locations for the 2016 street and utility project. The street and utility project tends to be a catch-all where we do several smaller projects and attempt to get better pricing. This year, we're proposing to do work on Olympic Hills Place Northeast, 30th Place Southwest, 22nd Street Southeast from Cedar to 4th Avenue, and Cedardale Street Southeast from 22nd Street to Hartle. And then we're also trying to lump in storm sewer improvements on Crestview Lane. The projects in the southeast were moved up a year or two because we felt that it'd be better to combine that and make a mess of the southeast one year rather than multiple years with the large storm sewer project that'll be coming before you. There's going to be a lot of activity. So we felt that it would be better to tackle it all in one year. So with that, staff recommends approval.
Thank you. And questions from the council? I do have one. I was looking at this. I was under the impression that Lamont Road would be completed this year. Is that still on the horizon?
It wouldn't be for this year. I guess we need to look at the schedule. That's a state aid route, so we'll have to look at the funding from state aid. We are looking at doing the North Cedar project, but the balance of Lamont would not be this year.
Okay.
I have a quick question. On the alley behind Godfather's, what is the status on that? Did that get delayed even out another year?
We haven't, I guess, done much with that. We had one property owner who's changed, and I believe that property's changed hands, that was pushing for some the work to be done. We had proposed the street be completed in bituminous. Some of the owners wanted to see that in concrete, and really it hasn't moved beyond that. It's something that we can sure bring back to those owners, but alleys do take a lower priority than streets for expenditure.
I do think that we should reconsider looking at that again this year.
Okay, we can do that.
Any other comments or questions?
I guess I would agree that that's been on our plate for 2 years now, and I certainly don't want to move it back one more. I would encourage us to look at doing that this summer as well.
Thank you. Any other comments? With that, what is the council's wishes on 3.2.1?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved to proceed. Moving down to 3.2.2. You have a feasibility report on those same locations. What is the council's wishes there?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now 3.2.3, Resolution 510, 2016 Flood Hazard Mitigation Grant Assistant, and we'll go back to Kyle there.
Actually,
That's
I'll take
actually
that. Over the last 10 years, the city has applied for, been awarded, and administered numerous flood grants to remove structures within the floodplain. To date, 24 homes and a business have been removed from the floodplain using the FEMA Flood Hazard Mitigation Grants and the DNR Flood Damage Reduction Grants. Removing structures from the floodplain has been one of the most effective flood mitigation efforts the city has undertaken. And even with the number of structures we've taken out of the floodplain, there still are a number of structures within the floodplain that need to be removed. The DNR has funds that have now been pooled together from unused funds from other projects. These funds cover 100% of the costs of these projects. Staff would like to submit an application for $500,000 to acquire additional properties within the floodplain. This amount will likely allow the city to purchase 4 or 5 properties and remove the structures. And as part of that application, the city must approve a resolution authorizing the submission of the grant. And remember, when we purchase these properties and remove the structures, the land has to be city-owned and maintained from then on out. So typically, we purchase those properties that are adjoining parkland or can be utilized for other city purposes. If the city is awarded the grant, all the costs associated with acquiring the properties in the floodplain and removing the structures would be covered by the grant. So staff would recommend approval of the resolution to proceed with the grant application.
Thank you, Troy. Questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Jeff Okerberg. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved to proceed. Thank you, Troy. Moving down to 3.3, contracts, agreements, safety program for Target Solutions, and this will go to Chris.
Thank you. City is envisioning a change with their basic safety program. We want to go to an online program for the majority of our training. The fire chief has done an extensive amount of research into Target Solutions, and we feel this will provide us with some excellent training. It allows us flexibility. We can train when we have a rain day. Previously we had contracted with MMUA, and we'd have to set up our training days well in advance, and if something, would change, if the person was called away or was ill, then we had to scramble and try and find another day. This will allow us the most flexibility. It's all OSHA approved. It allows for accountability with testing of our employees and making sure that they're understanding the concepts. This won't replace all of our training. We'll still need to contract for some hands-on. There's confined space. There's some lockout, tag-out, some safety aspects that will still need a little hands-on, and you can't do in the classroom style. So budget impact is $12,742. There's sufficient money in the budget for this, and we would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes on this?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Okelberg. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now we move down to public comment, and if anyone in the audience wishes to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda, we'll ask you to take approximately 2 minutes to speak to us.
Archer Wasek, still at 646 East Vine, probably forever.
You didn't move yet?
I was looking at the recap here of the big ticket items in 2015. We got $116,952 for Southeast Service Cooperative. That's December 2015 health insurance premiums. And I just wanted to share why these premiums are so high. Insurance companies aren't like the government. They have to, the more claims that pay out, the more money has to be taken in. So that's why our premiums are so high. Interesting article here, and it's called Fat Matters in my Mother's News magazine. I would recommend anybody reading it because it really hits the nail on the head, and it shows how should I say it, the government, the diet dictocrats, what they've done to our health of our country here. Of course, we've been willing participants, whatever's cheap in food, whatever's subsidized by the government. But I just wanted to read one paragraph here that really smacks of we're in a world of hurt, because this has been going on for, I can remember when I was a kid and margarine was touted as health food. Many biochemical processes in your body work by pairing shapes of molecules to receptors, like keys fitting into locks. When your body doesn't recognize a molecular shape, it treats the stranger as an invader and fights it with the immune response of inflammation. Trans fats have an unrecognizable shape, which is why the U.S. Food and Drug Administration now officially lists trans fats as unsafe to eat. Yet they remain the lubricant in much of fast and processed food. So how many years? You think it'll be another 50 years? We'll maybe see this changing, turning around. Too late for health insurance premiums. But the real kicker here is an advisory committee that guides federal nutrition policy signaled an even bigger shift in February of 2015 by reversing long-standing advice to avoid foods high in saturated fats such as butter and lard, and those high in cholesterol such as eggs. All of a sudden, butter and lard, eggs and cholesterol are good for you. Go figure. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to the council comments, and I will start with Nate Dodson.
Oh, Happy New Year. That's it.
Thank you, Nate. Jeff?
I'd like to thank law enforcement, Gold Cross Fire Department for working the holidays. I was very busy. Also like to thank the Park and Rec and City Shop employees for doing a great job with the 8 inches of snow we received. I thank them very much.
Thank you, Jeff. And Greg?
Just like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. It's good to see the Boy Scouts here. I'm sure some of you are working on your citizenship in the community merit badge. And good. And it's good to see you participate. It's a good thing to learn and come and see in action.
Thank you, Greg. Dave?
Just Happy New Year.
Thank you. Kevin?
Same as Greg, I was a Boy Scout. It's great to see Boy Scouts here. Thank you for participating. And Roger, if you think I'm going to give up Wagner's lunch, you're crazy. It's not going to happen. That's it.
Thank you. Brent?
Just Happy New Year.
Hey, Tom?
2016 in April will start of the appointments to different committees and everything. And I currently have 2 openings on the Charter Commission, so if anybody is interested in serving on the Charter Commission, please let me know. I also have 1 opening on the Airport Commission, so if anybody is interested in serving on the Airport Commission, please let me know.
Very good. Thank you, Tom. Chris?
All I had is just a reminder about the Highway 14 annual meeting this Thursday from 9 to 11
Thank you,
at
Chris.
the Art Center.
And I, too, was looking at this would be the committee for the council members, which ones that you are currently on. If you have any desire to change from what you've got, let's take a look at that, and within the next couple of weeks, we will look at either changing or continuing as we are. And as far as the Boy Scouts, my troop was 247.
Day 247.
Yeah, right. And it was fun. It was fun to be a Boy Scout, and thank you for coming. So with that, Chris?
One more reminder. The Human Rights Commission is also sponsoring again a Martin Luther King breakfast. We have just a great speaker in Joanne Magnuson. She's going to talk about discrimination and as a young bride in Minneapolis, and it starts at 7 a.m. at Plaza Marina. Thank you. On January 18th. So we would invite the public and all of you to attend. It's always a very nice breakfast provided by our folks out at Plaza Marina, and it should be a really good speaker this year, too.
Thank you. With that, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Kevin Rainey to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.